Hello, darling.
Hi, darling.
Here we go. Sorry, I was in the bathroom. Apologize for my tardiness.
No worries.
Check.
Here we go.
I'm sprucing up.
Oh,
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and
okay.
jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm not getting sound. Oh, you're muted, my love.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in
Good
the
morning.
mystery.
Dr.
Oh my.
Marissa, also
There's a
known
ghost
as
in
the
my
Asian
studio.
Oprah. Her mission, to be
I
a
don't know what's
beneficial
going
presence
on.
on
I
the
can't
planet.
get
Her
this to
purpose,
stop
to be your personal
going.
advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life
let's
motto,
see.
don't die wondering.
I
Take
am
back your
going
life with
to
Dr.
lost
Marissa Pay.
connection. Okay. So restart.
Your mic is not on.
And good morning. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from my studio, which happens to have a ghost here this morning. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, CNBC, and NBC Sports. It looks like my camera's not there. So, Ricky, do you want to do the intro? Can you hear me?
I would love to do the intro. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here for the Hollywood Rebel Report every Friday at 9 a.m. PST. And I'm so excited to be here with Dr. Marissa. And I am Ricky Rebel, Billboard Top 40 recording artist. And what we like to talk about on the show is how to be positive in your life, how to have a positive attitude, how to look at things from a positive perspective in a world that is trying very hard, desperately, to keep us scared and afraid of things and not grateful for things, always wanting more, comparing ourselves to other people. So in this show, we try to inspire positivity. So Dr. Marissa, take it away.
You did excellent. Thanks so much, Ricky. This is so funny. Same thing happened on my Straight Talk. And so it gave my co-host a chance to step in, and you did a brilliant job. So, yes, I'm here to balance out all the bad news with good news and good people and great co-hosts like Ricky Rebel. You know, he is recording artist extraordinaire, discography that even he doesn't know the count for. No. And he's been with me now for, I think 6 months, maybe, as my fabulous Friday co-host. We're so glad that you're here. I see the eyeballs running in to my chat. Our ability to interact with you, Ricky's chat, all of y'all who are here. We are so delighted. We love to interact. And especially since today is your choice of topic day. We love to do that because we really want to talk about things that you are interested in. However, there's one rule, well, actually two: no politics, no religion. Everything else, we're fair game. I do that because there really is, I don't like to argue. And this show for 641 consecutive weeks now, I have not talked about anything that is being talked about on the news, because almost always it's negative. If it bleeds, it leads. And I wanted people to have a place to come to talk about things that matter. No K words, no Kanye talk, no Kardashian talk. Only if we are talking about somebody in a way that's positive and uplifting, to balance out all of the negativity out there. So we're so glad you're here. Ricky, I love you. Thank you for jumping in there. And we're going to start with breakfast. Breakfast is our good life habit. What are you grateful for on the top of the bun? And what do you like about yourself? What are you grateful for internally? It's your morning workout to see what do you like about yourself, because good mental health starts with self-care, self-love. So let's do this. I am grateful that 88% of the time, having a studio in your home, thanks to COVID, works. And 12% of the time, well, maybe not. It's probably like 4% of the time, like this morning, we get a little hiccup, but I'm grateful that technology allows us. Ricky's in the Valley. I'm on the beach in Long Beach, a long way, but we still get to connect with each other every Friday, weekday morning.
Yes, I'm grateful for my studio as well. I'm able to make music in my studio and get to work with really cool artists who come into my studio. We collaborate and I produce music for them. So I'm very grateful for that.
Fantastic. I'm grateful that the Newport Beach Film Festival is concluded for its 25th year.
Yeah,
I loved it. It was like bigger and better. Ewan, I don't know if I'm saying his name wrong. Ewan McGregor?
Yeah.
He was there for this. Ewan, yeah. He was there. I got to walk up the steps with him. Didn't realize it was him until, with all the bodyguards and everything. But that was fun. And
right.
the actor that plays in Dead Man Walking, he was there as well. Peter Sven something, but you're the name person. I'm not. It was a fabulous film festival, and I'm actually going to have the director and actor from The Kiss of the Con Queen on the show, which was an excellent movie. You'll probably see it on Netflix very soon, but it was an amazing festival. So that makes up pretty much all of my gratitude.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm grateful for my traditional, my go-tos, which are my babies, my two cats, Willow, my ragdoll, and Maxwell, my Maine Coon cat. And I'm also grateful for my family, my man and my mother, and my father, my brother, and his children. So yeah,
awesome.
My aunt Donna.
Yeah. And I haven't given gratitude for a while for my two beautiful inside and out daughters, Chloe May, Sarah Way, 27, 25 up in San Francisco. My bonus parents, Dolores and Graham Martin, who are about to celebrate their 74th wedding anniversary. He's going to be 95. She's going to be 92. He had a stroke, so things are a little bit different now. And then my 90-year-old Chinese mom in Toronto who has Parkinson's.
90.
So
wow.
yeah, it's life is fabulous. 88% of the time, 12% of the time, it's a little poignant, especially, aging sucks. But what are you going to do? We all do it. We come from love. We go to love, and we make the most out of the dash in between.
Right.
And now, speaking of dashes, what do you like about yourself, Ricky? Forcing you to give yourself some credit.
Okay. I like that I know how to have fun with people. I know to be playful. I'm very friendly, so there's that. But also I like to I'm down for the party. Like if people want to have fun, if they want to have, you know, I'm good to take on a party. Let's just say that because I just want to have fun with people. I just want everybody to have a good time. I love to dance and make people smile uh, and impress people with uh, different things like fashion or just creativity, boldness. Being bold is a really cool characteristic of mine. I like to be bold in my fashion sense, in my perspectives on things in a lot of ways. I'm not afraid to stand out of the crowd, and I think I inspire people to do the same with their lives.
Great.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. I'm very shy.
Really?
Sarcasm.
Could have
Sarcasm is another service I offer. I do appreciate my ability. Oh, you or I just got a finger. Somebody gave us the finger, which
that's
is
good.
this finger, not the other one. I appreciate my ability to pivot. So as bad as I feel, I am feeling the effects of covering the Catalina Jazz Festival, the Newport Beach Film Festival, teaching the class at UCLA, doing this show, and my body said, "What the fork are you doing?" So now I have tears in both of my rotator cuffs
How did
and
that happen? We're going to
and
talk about
back,
it.
and yeah, the orthopedic specialist said it's whatever. I said, because I didn't have trauma. I didn't fall or anything. He goes, well, it could have been just the straw that breaks the camel's back. And I said, well, he goes, what do you do, for work? I said, well, I have like 8 jobs and I drove almost 800 miles in this last week going back and forth from places. And he goes, that probably did it. So I need to rest. My body's telling me, you may look young, you may act young, but you ain't young. But I'm going to hold on to my #agelessness, and thank God for medical technology to fix those things that are breaking down.
Shoulders are nothing to sneeze at. They're very
You were
simple.
saying you also had a tear. When did that happen?
I have a tear. Yeah. I was involved in a hit and run. Somebody hit and ran me.
When?
Earlier this year. I think it was around February.
You didn't tell me.
I didn't tell you.
No.
It was very traumatic. You remember when everything was raining in LA and in Hollywood?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when it happened. This person just hit me right from the side and left. I took a picture of his bumper that was on the freeway so I can get his license because he left a bumper.
With the license?
Yes.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And he hit someone else as well and just ran off. And what's interesting is the cops told me when they were doing a police report because the person ran away that they would have to file the police report and make me at fault. Because under California law, if the other person isn't there, they have to do the person who's making the report is
right.
Because they can't prove. It was out of control. It was out of control. So they're just like, we're just gonna let you go and you can figure this out. But anyway, I've been having like little residual things. That's the thing about with car crashes is like you don't feel it at the moment, but then months later, weeks later, you start going, "Ooh, my neck is weird, my lower back is weird, my shoulder." Yeah, so I recently got an MRI. Are you the kind of person that you can't be in like an MRI? Do you have claustrophobia?
I meditate while I'm in the MRI to force myself to be okay. Yeah.
I've had some things that have happened to me in my life recently that were kind of traumatic. So I think that now I just can't do it. I'm claustrophobic now. Never been in my whole life.
Wow.
I used to love being in like little, like on
Cocooning.
a tour bus, right? You have their little. Used to call it a tomb.
Yeah.
Go into your little tomb.
Yeah.
But now I feel like wow, like when I'm in there, it's not cool because I start imagining things that can go like an earthquake.
You go to MSU University? You make shiitake up. That's MSU.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. The possibility of like getting trapped in there is overwhelming. So I'm like, okay, I'm out of here. But anyway, to make a very short story, much longer, they have MRI machines now where you could just sit, right? Have you ever been in one like that? You just sit literally like
Oh,
this. And then there's like this thing on the side of you going off into like a V shape. And it's wonderful. And they can like see what's going on. And that's how they saw that I have a tear.
a
Like a
tear.
slight tear, but it's bothersome. And I've had to, I'm sure when it first happened, it really was a big situation because I could barely lift my arm and do like certain things I can normally
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So I had to rehabilitate it and be very kind to myself and patient. And because I
What's
just wanted
that?
to get back in the gym and lift everything and do everything I could do before it, right?
Right. Yeah. I don't have that P word in my vocabulary. So I had
The
to.
Leo doesn't have it. The
No,
Sagittarius doesn't have it
no,
either.
no.
We have that in common. We got everything yesterday or the year before or 10 years before that.
I know my physical therapist was talking to another physical. It sounds like a joke. He was talking to another physical therapist about my case, and he said that I just don't heal because I don't slow down. I just plow through pain, and now I'm to the point where I cannot plow through pain. And you know how much I love to swim, and I've been not being able to. All the people who love seeing my stories in the morning from the pool, and I'll pan and. I haven't been able to swim for a month, and he said at least another month no swimming. So,
Yeah, hard.
this too shall pass. I hate it when I have to practice what I teach. Really sucks, but
my advice, 'cause
I
I'm not.
know, yeah,
Isn't that
yeah,
your slogan?
right. Take my advice. I'm not using it. So, all right. We lost track of the bun. I think we're almost done the what do we like about ourselves. I encourage you to do this little blissipline or good life habit on your own when you are waking up in the morning, because I promise that if you have gratitude at the top of the bun and then before you go to sleep, it's appreciation, gratitude turned inwards. You're going to sandwich your day in the most positive way. Thanks for joining us for breakfast. We got a heart on that one. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us for breakfast. And now you get to choose. The topic today is your topic. What would you like to talk about? And I had one message come in. They want to talk about criticism,
Ooh.
which I actually spoke about on my Tuesday show, or I had to switch up my mental health Mondays. I had a beautiful guest. Those of you who missed that can get it on my YouTube TV channel. Do you remember the Sandy Hook shootings?
Yes.
Elementary school? The founder was my guest on Monday. She lost her son, Dylan. I think he was 7. And so a month later, she started Sandy Hook Promise. So she was my guest.
Wow.
But then for Mental Health Mondays, which became Tuesday, we talked about how to deal with criticism. So somebody said, missed that show, would love you to continue talking about that. So that's one topic. And we're looking at the chat right now to see if there's any other topic. I would also like to talk about your album, Veronica, that is up for Grammy consideration in 2 categories, Best Vocal and Album of the Year. So I want to talk about that, and then anything else that you want to talk about. So that's what we're doing today on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, and my favorite Friday co-host, my Friday series called
The Hollywood Rebel Report. Let's go.
And Mary Hardy, welcome to the show. He needs to, yes, you do need to start catching the show, and you are catching it right now. And we're offering up topics today. What would you like to talk about?
Mary?
The other thing that came up as a topic when I was going through my messages on Instagram was somebody wanted to talk about time management.
Ooh,
So that's another topic that we can tackle
I'm
today.
definitely not an expert in that.
Well, yeah, you're I know. I don't know.
Student in that one.
I don't know if either one of us are necessarily the best
timely.
people.
You seem very timely, like able to be on time.
Thank you. But
I was doing my hair today, trying to get this emo vibe.
it looks great.
Do you love it?
I love it. I actually, I think I like that more so than any other style I've seen. I like the
Well, because it
bang
looks like
difference.
yours.
You almost look like mine. Exactly. We are twins in the
I'm
other
mirroring
way.
you a little. Yeah, yeah. I wanted to do. I kept thinking to myself, I want to glam up a little bit more. I want to just get a little glam. Lately, I've been anti-glam for a long time. Like just doing like really natural. I'm like, oh no, today. That's why I was a tiny bit right on schedule. Speaking of time management, but we're here, and speaking of critic, we're looking at ourselves like, oh,
Yeah.
this is what I want this hair to be over here, and this. I'm like the biggest. I think we are the biggest critics of ourselves.
Yes.
And nobody really looks at ourselves the way we look at ourselves and judges ourselves the way we judge. So it's a good reminder that nobody is as cruel to you as you are to yourself. And you need to kind of recognize that. Most people are just pretty chill or worried about themselves. When you go out to a party and you're nervous about, oh my gosh, I'm feeling weird, or and you're feeling insecure, it's like, just remember, every single person is pretty much thinking about themselves and how they look, and if they're making a good impression, or if they're looking hot or sexy, that kind of thing. So keep that in mind.
Yes. Don Miguel Ruiz, the author of The Four Agreements, has another book called The Mastery of Love. And he says, everyone is the main actor in their own play. And they mistakenly think that everyone else around them are supporting actors when they are their own main actor in their own play. So we think that everybody is surrounding us to, help us out or whatever. And it's like, just like you're saying, that's bullshit talky. Everybody is concerned about, their own stuff, and it makes the MSU that I mentioned, making shiitake up university, that I like to say, when you think that someone is angry at you, or think that someone is criticizing you, or thinking like you have no proof, but you see maybe not a smile or whatever, our tendency is to go and project that they are unhappy with us. That's going to MSU University, which is silly, because they most likely have indigestion, or they're having their own bad day. It has nothing to do with you. So, Ricky, being your own worst critic is not a good thing. It takes away from your happiness. And every single time I've spoken about this topic, and I'll ask audiences all over the world, how many of you are harder on yourself than anyone else is? And everybody raises their hand.
Help with a hand up.
How many of you are your own worst critic? And everybody puts up their hand. And I say, and there's two words I have for you. Look at me. You're looking at me? Stop it. It's the dumbest thing to do to yourself, because we really, I don't know why we do this. I know why people like me who've had childhood trauma do it, because someone else criticized us so badly when we were young that we believed that BS, belief system, whether bullshit hockey, and we collected criticisms from that point forward to justify why we think we are a piece of shiitake. And again, stop it. Not easy. It's simple, not easy. But one of the best solutions, as we pass the halfway mark in the show, when I start to talk about solution, is remembering who we really are. Each one of us are precious children of a friendly universe. Desirada says this: every one of us is a precious child of a friendly universe. Whether you believe it or not, doesn't matter. It's true. And we knew that when we came in. If you watch babies run around, they know how precious they are. And it's only that voice that begins to develop, either because someone was critical, or even if you've had a healthy, loving home, somewhere around 8, 9, 10, that voice comes in. You're not as smart as, you're not as beautiful as, you're not as thin as, and that voice has to be put in its place. Don't kill it. It's your critic. Put it in the passenger seat. That's what I do in my coaching. That's what I've coached Ricky to do. He's much better at it than he used to be.
When we first met?
Yes.
So?
Yeah, you are. You definitely are. And the ease with which he does the gratitude sandwich is proof. Like
Oh, that's true.
Says much easier what he likes about himself. So hopefully you'll follow Ricky's lead there, because as a result, you're going to love your life more.
I agree. 100.
Yeah.
I agree. It's definitely a practice. It's definitely a talent, a gift, just like any thing we got to practice. When you go to the gym, you work out your muscles. When you're practicing gratitude, it's the same experience. You got to do it over and over again, because the world, like we were talking about, is can be a critical place. It can be, everybody. A lot of people have very strong opinions about things. I know as a musical artist, I've had to really endure a lot. That's probably why I am the way I am. A lot of criticism and just you name it, from starting off as a dancer, singer, and producer, and they mean it with love. I mean, if you take it like that, like the hardest teachers I've ever had on me are people who actually really loved me and cared about me. They wanted my shoulders back, my chest up, my ribs closed, my belly in, pulled up, my neck in a neutral position. Like they wanted perfection from me, because they loved me and they knew that I had the talent to deliver that. The consequence I've had to learn in my adult life, with all this training in gymnastics, and I've had coaches like push me, yell at me, stand on top of me while I'm in the splits to get me down lower. I've been abused. Huh?
I had that happen too.
Oh, really?
I've never heard you talk about that. I had that when I was in Taiwan. I took a ballet class, and I was like this far off the ground, and she came up behind me and on my shoulders and went, "Whoa."
Yeah, they just stand. I had a coach named Roca from China. And we do splits, and you stand on top of me.
I guess it's a Chinese thing.
And he would yell, and he would my father wanted to off his life.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, Mary said that you're an amazing artist. You've got the best of the best. I do recognize that.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you very much. And I do love having him as my co-host. And I think that you were saying me when I was saying worst critic. Watch be his own. He's about perfection. That's why we love him. And I would say I want you to keep loving him. But perfectionism is a dis-ease with life. And it robs you of joy, because nothing is ever good enough. So I want to just clarify. I think that you love Ricky because he always is looking for ways to improve, but not because he's a perfectionist, because perfectionism will literally take you down, because it says, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when. And then the when keeps moving, so you're never happy. And that's the problem with perfectionism. So I think our society has placed so much emphasis on, the 10,000 hours of practice and working over 80 hours. And, the one that sacrifices everything for their craft or their art. I think it's kind of unbalanced. That's why I'm all about balance, that you can be fabulous and still happy if those things that don't need to be perfect can be at 88%. Because really, honestly, the way your hair looks on camera, it doesn't have to be 100% here. Maybe, when you're doing a shoot or whatever. So
that is a professional hairstylist come in, do my hair. This is just me. I'm a boy, at the end of the day, I'm a man, I'm a boy, I'm a guy, I'm a dude, and
Well,
this
Mary's
whole
going to be
thing.
Rebel Mafia forever.
Oh, Mary, Rebel Mafia, she's bringing it back. Keep her healthy.
Yeah, it's
I used to
wonderful
call
to
all my
feel the
rebels
love.
I called them
Pardon?
I used to call all my rebels my Rebel Mafia. I'm gonna go back to that,
Ah.
my Rebel Mafia, and, what we were all about was, to, rebel the darkness, shine your light. That was a song I wrote, and that was what the Rebel Mafia, what we were about, and I think about that song now, or I think it might come into play to what we're talking about, like the darkness, which is, these emotions you're talking about, the critic, the shadow. I have a different way of approaching it, though. I don't feel like we should rebel it. I don't think we should resist it. We need to embrace that side of ourselves, like you were saying, like honoring our perfectionist. Like, I thank you for your service, but you're
You
not
got
going
to be
to.
tired. You got to be tired from yelling at me for the last 40, 50
Thank
years.
you
You
for
need a
sharing.
vacation.
Thank you for sharing, and that's that. That's it. Like, you tell them, you talk to them, and then the voices in your head. I sound crazy. No, you talk to the critic and you say, thank you for sharing, and you move on. I'm just going to do this task without striving for it to be perfect. Because honestly, the coolest parts, I think, to when you watch an artist perform live is not when they're being perfect. The coolest part is when they mess up and you see them be vulnerable with it. Um, I always bring up the same human being on our podcast. I'm sorry, because you're a Leo. You remind me of Madonna, like that, in that way, the Leo energy of love. But yeah, Madonna, like for instance, like I would love it watching her as a kid when she would get up there and just sing, and she was all flat. She was sharp. She was shaking. She was nervous. I love that because I thought to myself, wow, she's a brave person, because she's not the greatest voice on the planet, but getting up there in front of millions of people at the Oscars and stuff. She sang very well, by the way, at the Oscars. But that was just like an example of her. Like you can literally see her shaking because she's nervous. And it's
Mm.
beautiful. And that's something that I've had to learn over time, what the word vulnerable means. I still am investigating that word
Mhm.
in my life,
Mhm.
because I tend to be I can be a very guarded person. I think you can relate,
Mhm.
untrusting, of a lot of things, but
Yeah.
most of all, I mean, I think when my therapist has taught me is like untrust of others is untrusting yourself.
Where's my moose?
I mean, that's a moose drop.
That's a moose trap. Those of you who don't know, I was born in Canada, so instead of
Aw.
talking about the elephant in the room, we talk about the moose on the table, and we use the moose also as a mic drop. So here he goes with what you just said.
Boom. Yeah. And how would you describe what she's trying to say, or what she's saying?
Yeah.
What does that mean to you? How do you interpret that?
There's an African American saying that I love so much. It says, if there is no enemy within, no one outside can hurt you.
Another one.
Okay. So what that means
Yeah.
for me is, if someone criticizes me, if I don't believe that about myself, then that criticism is going to be like the water rolling off the back of a duck. But if I criticize myself, then any criticism is going to be 100 times worse than it actually is, because not only is someone beating up on the outside, I'm beating up on myself on inside. And that practice is so hurtful for me in my life. And I would never allow anyone else to do that to someone I loved. Why am I allowing myself to do that? That's what I would say. And the critic like you said. It's not someone to kill. And the voices, people used to say, if you hear voices in your head, you're crazy. Well, I'm here to tell you that if you don't organize the voices in your head, you're gonna go crazy, because you do have an internal critic who, the flip side is, if we didn't have a critic, we'd all be dead, because we'd run across the street and get run over, or we'd all have burnt hands touching the stove. So the critic had a place to help us. But if you drag your critic into your adult life and let it drive your life car, oh, you didn't do this, you shouldn't have said that, oh, I can be so stupid. And any compliment you get after you say thank you is, well, they really don't know you. If they knew you, they wouldn't say that. And what about that time you did this, this, and that? And blah, blah, blah. Your entire life can be consumed in this horrible, condemning, critical voice. No wonder you're unhappy. No wonder people like Robin Williams or Anthony Bourdain or Kate Spade, who had everything externally, but they were they were diseased with their life. They had that perfectionistic, there's something wrong with me. That's the theme song of a perfectionist. It will take you down. You'll drive your life over a cliff. You'll drive your life car over a cliff. So that's why you come here, to get a balance alignment, right? Get your life tires balanced and your frame of mind aligned, because life is way too short to be so hard on yourself, let alone all this crap that people put on social. You know, it's like now, 1,000 to 1 mean. And then you spend 2 hours of your time trying to refute someone, what they're saying, and make a point and change their mind. And where did that 2 hours go? You're never going to get it back.
I let it go now. I let it go. I let it go. I used to go back and forth with people really hard. Just boom, 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 bam, 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 bam. Now someone said something crazy to me recently. I forget what he said. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
It was funny. I just laughed at it and I was just like, whatever.
You know what I say?
Who cares?
Yeah. Who cares is a really good one. That's my prescription for perfectionists, is to learn how to say who cares. Maybe not to that person, but just say who cares. Huh?
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good phrase.
Thank you. A not so good one is, if I look like you, I'd be miserable too.
Wow, that's a very Leo thing to say, and that's something I approve that message 100%.
Oh my God, that was a belly laugh. I haven't had those in a while. I just love those belly laughs. And with that, we're going to have to take a quick break for news, weather, and traffic. This is Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show with my fabulous Friday series called
The Hollywood Rebel Report.
With myself and
Ricky Rebel.
Don't go away. We'll be right back. Chuck Woolery used to say we'll be back in 2 and 2. I say we'll be back. Peace in, peace out. Don't go away.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
Are you living in fear? Have technology and culture hijacked our minds and lives? Yes, fear is a natural biological response with plenty of evolutionary benefits. But has it gone too far? Find the answer to that question in the riveting book by Dr. Patrick Lockwood, The Fear Problem, available at Amazon and Mascot Books. So get your copy today.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa on NBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, DLive, Rumbles, Podchaser, Spreaker, and more. Why so many places? I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. And you can free subscribe on Ricky's channel, on my YouTube TV channel as well, to get the show every weekday morning on Fridays with Ricky. And this is on the station that no listener is left behind, KCAA, #1 talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And this is a show about hope and happiness, now running. This is podcast show number 1255, and we're celebrating 651 consecutive weeks on the air. Thanks for joining us today. Today is your topic, and the two topics that have come up, if you put in the comment section another topic, we can address that. One is criticism, and then the second one is time management. So I think we did a good job on handling criticism. We've been talking about that internal critic that you can just put in the passenger seat. Make sure that their seatbelt is on, but your balanced self drives that life car. So, Ricky, time management. You laughed and said, I'm not the one to
The last person on the planet to ask about time management is Ricky.
Well, Ricky,
I remember a story when my grandfather passed away. He used to yell at me to come down. It's time for auditions. My grandparents took me to auditions like every day as a kid.
Wow.
It was wild. Or to dance classes or singing classes, whatever. And he would yell at me, "Get down, come." He would just get so mad. And when he died, one time, my mother was downstairs. I was upstairs in my room. I have a big mirror on my wall. And so she's like, "Come on, Rick, we gotta go. Da, 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 da. I'm like, "Okay, Mom." And I'm putting on my outfit. I'll be right there. I'm going to be right there. And I'm putting my clothes, like, oh, I don't like my clothes. And so I'm trying on other clothes. And then I look at the mirror and it goes, the mirror shook.
Ooh.
It went, and I was like,
Grandpa
he is yelling at me. Like, he is so furious because I'm holding up Mom, and he shook the mirror. Get your down there. So I was like, okay, I'll never forget that. And I'm not one of those people that is
no.
Like
I call it a reluctant woo-woo is what I call it.
I'm a reluctant woo-woo.
Yes.
But that mirror shook, and it wasn't an earthquake. Nothing else was shaking. Just the mirror.
Yeah, I believe it. I totally believe it. I believe that people who pass are sitting. I had a dream about this, and I am also reluctant woo-woo, that I was in the dream, I was flying, and I saw my dad, who's on the other side, not my bonus dad, but my Chinese dad, who passed from lymphoma. And he was watching with a bunch of people, this giant big screen TV. And I'm flying closer, wondering what they're watching. And every once in a while, they'd stand up and go, "Whoa!" And then I'm like, what are they watching? And I flew down closer. And they were watching my life. And every time something great happened, they all stood up. And all the people that I love that have passed were all sitting there with him. And it was such the most beautiful dream. And I choose to believe that is exactly what people who pass are doing on the other side. Because we all come from love, go to love. And, it's might be fantastical, but I choose to believe it because it makes me feel better about those who have passed before their time, kind of thing.
My mother certainly believes that.
Yeah. Well, she had that experience. With the accident you were telling me. Yeah.
And there was a man who wrote a book about it, who reached out to me and said he wrote a whole book about that experience. And he said, what your mother said is exactly what happens when you die.
Yeah.
And she said it was the greatest feeling she's ever had, ever, and imaginable.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have some comments here from Mary
Yes.
Hardy.
Ricky
Love
saw
Mary.
me personally through some really dark times with a particular song that he did.
Mm,
Your time lets me know that I can get through anything. Well, how beautiful is that?
that is
So
beautiful.
you say, Ricky, that you hope that your music is bringing
Mary.
something to others, and
Yeah,
you
that means
know,
something to
and
me.
you have proof for that.
Yeah,
Let's see. Wait till you have
makes it
someone.
worthwhile.
Oh, she had an experience too. Have someone
Oh,
tug on your hair knowing there's nobody in the room.
wow.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty wild.
it's
Yeah.
weird. Your loved ones will do these things,
Yes.
give you
Yeah.
messages. That's great to hear.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I feel like my cat has a little bit of my grandmother in her. I don't know. That's why I love her so much. I have a very strong connection with Willow. I just see this like I was very close to my grandmother. Um, I'm very close to all the women in my life, to be honest.
So when I was interviewing your man,
Yeah.
without you, one of your cats walked into the frame. Was that Willow?
Was she white-ish?
She was.
Like a gray tail. She has a gray tail and she's like tan,
She had like a
blue eyes.
multiple color.
Yeah, she's multicolored.
It's a multicolored. Yeah. So I think that was you. So you said you were very close. I
Yeah.
think that was you coming into frame while I was interviewing her.
Oh, you mean like I have a connection with her, right?
Yeah.
A spiritual connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I look at her and I see nothing but like beauty and love and light, and I see the same with my boy Maxwell. I mean, it's just basically you're looking at a mirror. You know, when you see things that you love,
Yeah.
you're basically looking at yourself, and
Absolutely.
you're able to recognize. So if we were able to do that with more things in our lives, like take that energy and that love that we experience with certain people in our lives or cats or dogs and kind of shift it into human beings, perhaps that we meet along the way, kind of view them in similar ways. I feel like we could really transform
Peace on earth.
planet.
Peace on earth. If everyone treated other people the way they do their beloved pets, we would not be at war.
The pets. The pets.
I'm sorry.
Moose drop it. It's true.
It
For
is.
some reason we love our animals.
But that's why I call it hashtag unconditional dog, because we think we can love unconditionally, but honestly, we can't. We always have conditions of some kind. If you love me, you would. If you love me, da 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 da. So with animals, with dogs in particular, for me, they love regardless. Cats still have a little bit of an attitude sometimes.
And I love it. I love them for their attitude. I'm like, oh yeah. Give me that attitude, baby. Because I have an attitude, so
really? Mary saying the tugger was her mom. I just thought next week, you know what? We could make the whole show about extra experience.
Yeah.
Because I have a whole bunch, but I want to make sure we answer the time management question that someone asked before we got off. But I thought it was really interesting that Mary brought up the album or the song Time.
Right.
Isn't that woo-hoo?
That is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just say this about time management. You're never going to have enough time. And the only one that can manage your time is you. If you're expecting your boss or your friends or your family to say, why don't you get a load off? Why don't you take a load off? Why don't you just relax? Why don't you? No one ever is going to do that for you. You have to be the boss of you, and you have to make time. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not responsible. A lot of my clients say, oh, do I drop everything and go find myself? Heck no. But don't tell me that you don't spend an hour counseling your best friend who's calling you one more time about the guy that she doesn't like that she's still with, and that you don't give her the same advice you've been giving for 50 days and she doesn't take it, but you still waste an hour and a half or 2 hours of your time trying to help her. That's
Mm,
time you could be
mm,
doing something with yourself.
mm,
Don't tell me that you who want to do, everybody else is only going to do this much, but you
mm,
got to show everybody that you're going to do this much. And as a result, you have no time to take a lunch. You have no time to take a walk. You have no time to floss your teeth. That's bullshit talkie. Why don't you just do this much over everyone else? And then
mm.
with that extra time, do something for yourself. So it's an inside job. If you really want to make more time for yourself, remember the oxygen. You can spend your entire life helping other people and
Mm,
feel good because you're helping other people. But if you don't help yourself, you're going to run out of time. You're going to run out
mm.
of energy, and you're going to be flat on your back. Now, I know this is advice that I need to take.
Both of us.
But take my advice, I'm not using it. That's the name of the show.
One time I was late for, well, one time, please. Late for a job, I had the best job in the whole world and I want to go back to it. I would sing on movie soundtracks. I sang on Anastasia, I sang on Apollo 13, I sang on TV shows
Oh,
on Fox. I
I
had the
didn't
best.
know that.
You didn't know that? It's in my bio.
No.
But it was like the best experience because you were part of like a small choir. You got your music. You had to, I had to learn how to read music, and sing in this choir, and it was so much fun. And it was just the gig. And we did like commercials. I sang on commercials, sometimes solo, sometimes whatever. She would just call me up, and then one time I was like late, like late, and she's like, "You can't be late. This is unacceptable," and the whole thing. And I was like, I said, "I apologize, I'm driving all the way from the Inland Empire to get to Rosecrans in Santa Monica, and there was a lot of traffic, and I apologize." And but as a kid I didn't really get it. I was just like, what's the problem? I'm like, I'm driving so far. And then even in Thousand Oaks, I had a show out here. I was in a do you remember that show, The West Side Story?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was late coming from the Inland Empire driving to Thousand Oaks. At the time, I didn't live in LA yet on my own. And the director, he yelled at us, he yelled, "You guys are late. It's unacceptable. You've been late several times and da 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 da. You're not taking this seriously." And I was just so devastated with myself. I was like embarrassed. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. And the guy came up to me and he told me, "Why are you choosing to be embarrassed?" And I'm like, "What do you mean choosing and sad? And why are you choosing to be sad and embarrassed? Why don't you choose to be on time?"
Ah!
No, he didn't mean it like that. But he meant like, why don't you choose something else? Why don't you choose a different,
Yeah.
a different approach? Like instead of sadness or embarrassment, why not choose something else? Something
Right.
that was more productive for
Right.
what you want, the results you want.
Yes.
And
Yes.
basically I had to go through this program. I don't know if I want to talk about the program because you may have bad feelings about it, but who cares? It's called the Landmark Forum, right? Have you heard of the Landmark Forum? You've heard of it.
I have.
And I learned a lot. Bottom line, I learned a lot. The first thing the person told me was, we walked in, "You're all late." We were 1 minute behind schedule. He's like, "You're all late. You're all out of integrity. You're all out of your word. And you're not going to believe anything that you tell yourself because you have no integrity. We're done with the conversation." Like he yelled at us. Like it was crazy.
Yeah. And
all
we're running out of time,
together.
darling. We're let's see. Oh, I forgot. We started a little early, but we do only have 1 minute.
1
So
minute
this
left.
is a great topic to continue next week, obviously.
Yeah.
So finish the story.
The point is like, be your word. Okay. It's a part of being your word. If you say you're going to be somewhere, do everything in your power, because when it comes to believing in yourself, having belief in yourself means that you believe yourself. You believe
Yes.
the words that are coming out of your mouth because you are on time. So every time you're on time, it's a victory for yourself and your confidence. You're going to start believing that you will do the thing that you think you're going to do, that you're going to do. Period.
Yes. That's great. Moose drop right there.
Thank you.
I call it acting on your own behalf.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're not acting on your own behalf, you're acting against it. So some of it has to do with self-sabotage. You know you need to go. You know that it's getting late, but you
Yeah.
still got to fix this part
You're
and that
nervous,
part and
you're
that part.
scared.
And
Yeah.
you know you're going to get in trouble, but you still do it. We're going to talk about that next week. Please
We have
come and
5
tune
minutes
in.
left. We have 5 minutes left.
Well, we're supposed to finish at 56.
Oh, we do? Okay.
Yeah. So
Darn it. That's how much
But
I
it-
love talking to you.
I love talking to you too, but we will be back next Friday, y'all. I'm so
Okay.
glad. This is a good topic, which is you pick the topic because you guys are picking great topics. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hollywood Rebel Report with myself, and
Ricky Rebel.
we hope that you have the best. Oh, wait, I forgot this. It's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Thank you, Ricky Rebel, as usual, the host with the most, and I love you so much. Now go and have the best weekend
Ever.
Thank you so much, Mary. We do this every Friday at 9 a.m. So thank you
PST.
so much, and we'll see you next Friday.